It's day 17 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The fiercest battle has begun between Russia and Ukrainian forces for the capital city of Kyiv. Ukraine claims Russia troops have infiltrated inside Kyiv and destroyed key establishments. A 64-kilometer large military convoy that was last seen near Antonov Airport in Kyiv has also been redeployed at Kyiv's store. Here is a detailed report.
After 2 weeks of non-stop bombing and fierce battle, Vladimir Putin's forces have infiltrated Kyiv. Russia's special troops are targeting key establishments in the capital city. Ukraine claims Russian soldiers are trying to enter Kyiv in civil dress.
So we are expecting enemy from any hour, and because they are absolutely nearby Kyiv, our army would like and try to stop them. But some people, some soldiers try to go inside of Kyiv because they have order, and so our order is to stop them and so to absolutely to kill all possible enemies. They are trying to use civil cars, they are trying to use civil clothes, to come inside Kyiv. They have weapons, and the question is that it's rather dangerous, and so we'll try to infiltrate them, to stop them, and sometimes when their tanks are blocked or, for example, fired, so they try to go inside of Kyiv, and so the question is to infiltrate first of all them and to destroy and, of course, to kill them.
As the battle for Kyiv intensifies, Ukrainian soldiers have refused to bow down. They have vowed to fight back against the aggressor Russia.
It is interesting, is quite wide, and the Russians are, some distance away. Should there be a forward movement and advance, what's the tactical strategy to stop the Russians?
I can't see you about all our plan, but we're ready and we're waiting, no problem.
What would worry Ukraine is the movement of 64-kilometer long Russian battle convoy that was seen last near Antonov Airport in Kyiv. The huge convoy is now redeployed to Kyiv, another indication that the capital is about to see a final assault.
Trenches have been dug up to ensure that there is enough protection and defense for the Ukrainian forces to ward off the Russian invasion. Russian forces are here just a distance away, not that far away. We will not give out the logistics, but this is one of the frontline areas where trenches have been dug up. Officers over here say in a matter of 2 or 3 days, these trenches, community also coming in to help in the digging of the trenches. Bunkers have been set. They're all prepared, all set to take on the Russian forces. With British journalist Syed Mohsin in the frontline area of Ukraine, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
Even as Russia-Ukraine war rages on in its third week, both sides continue to fight the battle fiercely. Russia also is paying the price of invasion as Ukrainian forces have killed Russian tank commander Andrei Zakharov, who received Order of Courage Award from Putin in 2016. He's become the third top Russian military commander to be killed in war. Take a look at this report.
Armed to the teeth, tough, ruthless, the Russian military is one of the most intimidating forces in the world. But the Ukrainian resistance has been equally fierce. The war is in its third week. Ukraine has inflicted enough injury on the aggressor. On Thursday, a key commander of the Russian tank regiment, Colonel Andrei Zakharov, was eliminated in Kyiv after a heavy fight. Zakharov was a recipient of the Order of Courage from Putin himself in 2016. This is not the first high-profile casualty for the Russians in this war. In a fatal blow to Russia's crack special forces, Major General Vitaly Gerasimov, the Chief of Staff of the 41st Army, was killed in Kharkiv. Russia also lost the head of the 7th Airborne Division Major General Andrei Sukhovetsky. A war hero, the general's loss is being seen as a bitter blow to Putin's crack units. A sign Russia's assault isn't going to plan.
The key difference now between the Ukrainian and the Russian forces is the morale component. The Ukrainians have fought very well and morale is very high, and that is infectious, and it is clearly not just between the Ukrainian professional soldiers but also the Ukrainian civil society as a whole. They see this as a fight for national survival. And on the Russian side, morale is very low.
The death of the highly decorated veterans could be a major demotivator for the Russians and a morale booster for the Ukrainian defenders. With Gaurav Sawant, Rajesh Pawar and Geeta Mohan in Ukraine, Bureau Report, India Today.
As Kyiv braces for an aggressive attack, civilians who fled are returning to Ukraine to defend their motherland. They're picking up weapons against the Russian troops. Take a look at this special report.
The suburbs of Kyiv are now a pile of rubble. The Russian forces are taking out key installations in around Kyiv before they launch a final assault to take control of Ukraine's crown jewel.
This is the suburbs of Kyiv city, and a Russian rocket that fell on this house destroyed the entire house. This entire village is now or wears an abandoned look. The impact was so huge. You can see that the soot and the smoke still billowing out of that house, and the region across, the houses across and around surrounding this house also were damaged. So most of the people have left and evacuated from this village, but for the people of Bovery or the people of the Kyiv region where the Russian forces are closing in, it is a scary scenario. Most of them have left their homes, moved to the cities and to the bomb shelters that they can find to keep themselves safe.
Ukraine's military is stretched as it struggles to fight back Russian advance towards the capital. Much of its defense depends on ordinary civilians who are taking up arms for their motherland. Citizens who had fled the war to Poland are returning to join the war.
I'm going back to Lviv, and then I'm going back to Dnieper to get my people back.
How is it your feeling?
My feeling? Angry.
My town is Lviv.
You go back there?
Yes.
But you are scared?
Scared, of course, scared.
So the reason you want to go back, they said, because you love your country.
Yes, I love my country.
What you can do that?
While civilian troops are determined to beat back the Russians, it remains to be seen how long they can last against the trained and battle-hardened army of Vladimir Putin. With Gaurav Sawant, Geeta Mohan, Rajesh Pawar and Shweta Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
War is a terrible reality, the death, the destruction and the end of everything that was normal. The terrible tragedy of Ukraine is visible in the continued demolition of their cities and towns. And yet the country holds on, fighting back against immense odds. The women and children in their hundreds of thousands are fleeing. The defenders are tightening their belts to stem the advance of the Russian forces, and the bombs continue to rain from above. War is a terrible reality where escape is death and victory comes wreathed in ruins. War is when it is night and the morning is night as well.
More than 200 schools, around 35 hospitals, and hundreds of residential buildings, possibly close to 2,000, have been destroyed since the war began in Ukraine 2 weeks ago. Towns and villages across the eastern half of the besieged country do not have electricity and water. And in the intense cold of the snow-covered terrain, there is no heat. Millions of ordinary Ukrainians are hiding in bunkers and shelters, shivering in the cold uncertainty of mounting loss. UNICEF has put up this appeal on their landing page on Ukraine. Children in Ukraine are facing a deadly crisis as the hostilities in their country are increasing. Like all conflicts, this is turning into a children's crisis, and they will need as much humanitarian support and help as we can provide. UNICEF says there are 7.5 million children in Ukraine, and the war poses an immediate threat to their lives and well-being. With the intensifying of indiscriminate bombing of civilian targets, lives are being lost, and some of them are children. On 7th of March, human rights sources inside Ukraine released actual numbers of children killed, 38 dead and 71 injured. The survivors are rushing to the borders, clad in their winter clothing, holding on to their mothers or elders, trusting hands clasping those of adults, making unplanned journeys to the unknown, to faraway lands where strangers try and make them feel welcome.
Just 2 days ago, we had a transport of 700 kids. And, it's not easy to find a place for anybody, but it's even tougher to find a place for 700 kids in the same one place.
As their homes and lives are torn apart by other unseen strangers, firing big guns from somewhere beyond the dreadful horizon. Natasha, a 16-year-old Ukrainian refugee from before this war even started, writes, "The war came to us and happiness is no more than a ghost from my dreams." Natasha used to live in the seaside village of Shirokne in eastern Ukraine. The last time she saw her house, she was 11. Natasha writes, "Our hearts are full of sadness. We have no home. The night is black. Two children died among the 21 on Tuesday in Sumy. The victims had been killed in an airstrike on a residential street. At that time, a ceasefire was supposed to be in force. Volunteers building barricades and installing them on the streets. Hopes of slowing the advance of tanks and armor on roads meant for peacetime traffic. A father's goodbye. Women and children fleeing. At a border crossing, a pianist. A bullet-ridden bus in Kyiv. A comrade gone away. And a wedding in fatigues, in times when only the present remains, the future obscure. Every day that the war in Ukraine goes on, every day that the bombs rain from above, every time another school goes up in flames, and every bullet that takes a parent away, another Natasha's heart fills with sadness. 100 hearts sad, and the night stays black.
Amid a raging war between Ukraine and Russia, claims and counterclaims fly thick and fast. While Russian President Vladimir Putin has claimed that talks between two nations have taken a positive shift, situation on the ground tells a different tale. Russian troops are at the doorstep of Ukrainian capital of Kyiv to capture it, while suburbs are witnessing continuous shelling. Upping the ante against Moscow, Ukrainian President Zelensky refused to back down, claiming that his forces are headed towards victory. He's also called out Putin for attacking the cities and civilian structures and said that Ukraine will continue to fight the enemy that has entered its soil.
Словно проинформирую вас и о ситуации на украинском направлении, и прежде всего о том, как идут сейчас переговоры, которые проводятся сейчас практически на ежедневной основе. Но там есть определенные такие позитивные сдвиги, как мне доложили переговорщики з нашої сторони.
Ми бачимо наші бойові перемоги і втрати ворога. Ми очікуємо, що боротьба завершиться швидше, що окупанти впадуть швидше. Але це життя, це війна, це боротьба. Ще потрібен час, ще потрібне терпіння, наша мудрість, енергія, уміння робити свою роботу по максимуму, щоб ми разом дійшли до перемоги. Неможливо сказати, скільки днів нам ще звільняти нашу українську землю, але можливо сказати, ми це зробимо, бо ми цього прагнемо. Бо стратегічного перелому ми вже досягли, ми вже йдемо до нашої мети, до нашої перемоги. Це вітчизняна війна. Війна з дуже впертим ворогом, який не звертає уваги на тисячі своїх, навіть своїх убитих людей, убитих солдатів, який збирає по всій Росії зараз резервістів та строковиків, щоб кинути їх у пекло цієї війни.